step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
All right, Keep Hammering Collective with James Visser.
Yes, sir.
Bow Disciples.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That
I
is
almost
right.
said bow hunting discipline.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've also been known as Jason from Bow Discipline. So
Jason from Bow. Who's that? Is that something?
basically, what happened is my good friend Josh. I was going to do a collab with him at Total Archery Challenge, and I was
Yeah.
going to go shoot with him. And then in their podcast ahead of time, he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to shoot with Jason from Bow Discipline."
Gotcha.
He blew both names, and now it's
Oh.
like a running joke. And he did it twice.
It was unintentional.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
hilarious. So
Yeah.
now it's a running joke we have.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can either go with that or just go with the bow discipline or disciples.
Bow disciples. See, now I messed you up.
I know. Yeah, it's all good. Well, tell me about I've watched some of your videos. The first one I saw was probably the one a lot of people saw about, I think you're mimicking how I shoot, the trigger punching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that where it started or had you already been going at that time?
Nah, yeah. So we started the channel actually in 2018. That video didn't go crazy till like probably 22. So we've been going a long time, but just on YouTube, and then we started putting stuff everywhere else, and just had a really steady. Like it took us exactly 1 year to hit 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
To the day.
Yeah.
So from 18 to 19. Then we went to like 3, and then it was like 6, 10, and then this year we've got like up to almost 100,000. So it's been a big growth, and then we've also grown equally as fast the last couple of years on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. We'll try to be really well-rounded.
Very engaged, huh?
Very engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's relentless. I know we talked about it in the car a little, but like I love making content, and I love shooting bows, and I love bow hunting. So it just works out. There's nothing I would rather be doing than what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
just go full steam.
Well, you're kicking ass. I mean, your videos are entertaining. I like them. You have fun.
Yep.
What's the goal? So you've been grinding since 2018. You're doing great.
Yeah.
The following is growing, making cool stuff. What's the goal? Just keep spreading the good word of bow hunting and archery?
Yeah, that's it, really. I mean, for me, the goal is to I always say I want more people to shoot archery and just know that you can have fun shooting bows. Like, I think what I'm best at in life is deer hunting, spot and stalk. And I know we've talked about that a lot this trip. I'm a very good hunter at certain types of hunting, but I don't double down on that too much in the content. Those videos come through sometimes, but I'm also, I think, a pretty good advocate of you can shoot bows and have a riot. And I think that's something that not too many people are nailing right now in the current climate. And like the stuff that we were doing today, how could you not watch that and go, that's so fun,
Yeah, that was good.
Or when I go shoot with different guests that I've shot with, it's always, or my normal group, it's always hilarious, high energy, a lot of fun. If we break an arrow, like it was staying in the mix, like it's funny, you know, like, because I think that anyone we can get into archery, whether or not they hunt or not, I guarantee if they're a fan of Bow Disciples, like they're going to be an advocate of hunting, or at least an ally, whether or not they do it.
Right.
And I think nowadays with so much legislation kind of being pushed in different states to get hunting canceled or banned, and they start with predators, but trust me, eventually they'll want to get deer and elk canceled if they can too. I think the more people we can get on board, the better. And that's why I've always respected what, you do and Joe does, bringing so many people in. And I'm trying to do that and say, hey, it's okay if you never want to bow hunt.
Yeah.
You can just shoot for fun. So
Right.
To me, growing the sport of archery, and then obviously now that I do it for a living, it's like, obviously I want to continue to grow that and expand the revenue as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's not necessarily we need more bow hunters, but being an archer and being an ally is what we need. And that's not everybody's going to hunt. I mean, killing an animal probably isn't for everybody. It can be pretty intense, but there's nothing wrong with just shooting arrows down range and listening to people and be like, yeah, I don't hunt, but I know somebody who does, and they do it the right way. They got a lot of, actually, I want to comment on that too. I kind of I kind of box myself in. But one thing is a pet peeve of mine is people when they say somebody doesn't hunt for the right reasons. And I'm like, to me, I just said it, but for people that are doing it the right way, but who's to say what's the right way?
Yeah,
that's the thing I have a problem with.
Yeah, you know what? I used to be kind of like, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. Because I shot my first animal with a bow in 1998. Like, I've been doing it a long time.
How old were you then?
It's 5.
5.
I shot a cottontail with a bow.
Really?
Too. Yeah, dude, I'm not kidding. Like, I used to shoot longbows when I was like 3.
Yeah.
I've been doing this my whole life.
Right.
So when people... I used to do that, though, where I'd kind of be like, oh, well, if you hunt high fence, it doesn't count. Now I'm like, I haven't done high fence. I don't know that I would, but I'm not... As long as you're hunting legally and to the best of your abilities, like making good shots and being ethical, who am I to be like... I'm the only one who can say what's right.
Right.
Public land on the weekends only. Over-the-counter tags.
Yeah.
On the ground. Like, you know, I kind of used to do that like 10 years ago, like being just like a hater. But I realized that's so kind of, it's goofy to give yourself like this God complex and being like, my way is correct and yours is wrong.
Right.
Like,
that's what, when people say they don't do it for the right reasons or this guy hunts for the right, it's just like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I mean, is that your call to make? But so that's why I like that you explain that too. I mean, it's, I think we all potentially could hunt for different reasons. There's different things that are important to us. There's different times in our life. I mean, I know when I was a kid, I just wanted to get out and I didn't really think about the reverence of the hunt so much. I just like to be out and shoot. I like to go shoot at stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I put a lot of thought into it. I think very deeply about the hunt and what it means to me. So I've changed myself. So I might, if I was the judgmental type, I might be like, oh, when I first started hunting, that wasn't for the right reason. But at that time in my life, it was absolutely the right reason because that's what I wanted to do. So it's, I think we can get, kind of trapped into the God complex, as you mentioned, and we're just like, we're so critical of others.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, as hunting, there's not that many hunters. I think there's like somewhere around like 13 million hunting licenses. It's not that many of the population. I think we're at like 350 million or something for the country. It's like you cannot be pointing a finger at people that need to be allies, and that's why to me, like the outreach again of bow hunting's really hard. It's impossible, like especially if you don't have someone who's taught you. I was fortunate. My dad was bow hunting long before I was born. So I was born bow hunting, and had a great teacher. But for guys that, got into it because they watched your videos or my videos and got into it with no one to help them, like I could see a lot of those guys eventually like kind of phasing out of hunting because it was like much harder than you anticipated. But guess what? They're still going to be allies and sign the ballot measures and all the stuff that we need. So I've just never really kind of I've never been on board with that. There's too many people hunting. In fact, I think like we need more people to be on board or at least have an understanding of it.
Yeah. And I mean, nobody likes to see a bunch of people in where they're hunting.
No, of course
I get
not.
that. I get that too. But yeah, I just don't think that just so I can have hunting to myself that I'd be wanting to give up the allies that we need out there and people who understand hunting and fellow hunters. I mean, where do you get a better brotherhood than another bow hunter? You know what I mean? So it's, I mean, I get it. I used to hate seeing a boot track when I was hunting, another boot track. And I'd be like, oh my God, I wanted this to myself. So I 100% understand it. But also I think, we do need to look at the big picture and what it means as a community as a whole. And I mean, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that I'm trying to fight for what I love, and that's bow hunting. Yeah. And it takes, we have some organizations out there who are, have our best interest in mind, are going after these ballot measures. We've got that big one in Colorado right now. That's a key one because, as we know, they go after the low-hanging fruit. They go after the lions,
bears,
right? And those are
bobcats in California.
Yeah, Well, and lions in California
Been gone since the 90s.
Yeah, you can't even kill lions somewhere else and take it there to your house if you live there.
Yeah, and they did get bobcats banned like 2 years
Yeah.
ago. So you can't do bobcats. They almost got bears. Howl to Wildlife is great. And I know you've worked with them, but like so good of just knowing what we're up against, you know? And without strength in numbers, you're toast.
Yeah.
You know, and I've done polls before on the channel, like of how many of the viewers just shoot bows versus hunt. And it's like, I think it's like 30% just shoot archery. But all 30% like will watch the hunting videos we do too and comment like, I don't hunt, but this was such like a cool film or you guys did a good job. Like they understand it because they're watching the content. That's what I'm saying. You can't just preach to the choir all the time.
No.
And like even this podcast, I love that you have people that are not in our space on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for the fans, it's probably really cool for like when you had Waddell on, that was awesome to me and people will be stoked we're talking, but we're kind of not really reaching too many new people.
No.
But when you have Paul Skeens on,
Yep.
you know, you're reaching new people and we try to do the same. Like I have a mountain biker coming on soon. Different stuff. So I think that's a good way to reach people too.
It's good too. And I don't rifle hunt myself and haven't for many years, but I go out and take people out rifle hunting all the time. I just love to hunt. And I know how it works with archery is normally you start with a rifle. You're like, okay, whatever, you want more of a challenge or you want a longer season or, you know, with the archery, you can see more animals sometimes because there's less hunters. So you transition to a bow hunter, but then it's really hard. And some people like that's a short-lived little journey. And they're like, I'm not killing shit with this thing. I'm going back to rifle hunting. So I try not to be judgmental on what anybody uses. You mentioned high fence, but you know, whether it's recurve, crossbow, I don't count crossbow as a bow, but that's besides the point. Bow, tradition or compound bow, rifle, muzzleloader, it doesn't matter. It does. I don't really care. I love taking people out rifle hunting. I take my son out. I take new hunters out. It's just something that it never gets old. Being out there, just being a hunter. And so I think, you know, we just need to, I think, just be more accepting of it sounds easy and cliche, but just be more accepting of others and just realize we're all on the same team, essentially.
Facts. Yeah. I mean, as long as you're doing stuff legally, like I said, I mean, it's dope.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. I think, you know, I kind of learned backwards, like, because I said I only bow hunted like my whole life ever since I was tiny. So I never really had the transition of like going from rifle to bow. Like I only ever knew the struggle stick.
Right.
So for, you know, and I think if you can learn archery first,
oh man,
and then like draw a rifle tag once in a while, I mean, you're going to slay.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
My buddy Tim had that point of view because him and my dad were talking about the same topic. And my dad was like, oh yeah, people, you know, start rifle and then move to bow, just like you said. And Tim goes, Tim's a newer hunter, and he was like, honestly, I think if you can learn the opposite way, it's like probably faster for that learning curve.
Oh,
if you can learn bow first.
I just know, like with my kids, I started them with the rifle because bow hunting is so freaking hard. I didn't want to burn them out and be like, no success. So you want them to have a little success. So I took them both. You know, there's pictures over there, but bear hunting in Alaska was both their first hunts because there's no age limit in Alaska. And so Tanner and Truett both killed bear up there first. But yeah, it's like you want them to taste a little success. Then they're like, okay, this is what it's about. I can work hard, make a rifle shot and get the animal killed, and then move into the archery. That's normally how it works. But if you can somehow find success with the bow early, man, you're going to be a great hunter.
Or just trudge through shit for like 5 or 6 years, but keep going, you know?
That's brutal.
It's brutal, but that's what I've always loved about archery is like I really, really like the brutal stuff. Like even I've drawn some really good hunts and done some really, really top tier hunts, but something about those like just real grungy, like not good hunts. Like I don't know, something about them. Like probably like hunting here in Oregon. I'm sure there's plenty of hunts like that. Yeah,
it's tough.
When you pull them off, there's no other feeling like that.
For sure.
You go, that shit was impossible.
Yeah.
You know?
But got it done.
There's nothing better.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So tell me, so you got the channel, you have a podcast too, right? Or is
Yeah,
that hit and
I
miss?
barely say that. Like I do it once in a while. It does pretty good views on YouTube, and our
Yeah.
studio's like it's pretty slick. It's not this studio, but it's like well done. Brianna designed it, and we got dope guests, but the consistency is just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
not
I
there.
understand.
Because I'm like you, I want to do it in person.
Yeah.
It's like you know how it is. You don't always have a guest lined up.
So you found like your recipe to success basically is traveling, making videos with people when you can meet up like at TAC, or you said, did you go to Spokane and do something with Josh, or where was that?
Yeah. So I've been up to Spokane Valley Archery, shot with Josh and Tim. They do a really good archery
Yeah.
podcast, and I know you
do.
listen to it. And yeah, just double down on the collaborations. That's a newer thing though. Like we really have a solid crew, right? It's like my buddy Matt, Brianna, my dad, my friend Nick, and myself. Like, and then we got my friends Scott and Chuck. Like we got kind of a lot of guys that are like frequently in videos. So we got like a really good home team. But it's so fun, I think, because I like to watch golf YouTube. And they do a lot of collaborations like between channels.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I love that. Like, I love the concept of that.
Right.
Because I want to know, like, how's this golfer going to do against this guy? Like, you know, you want to see it. And now in archery, I'm like, that's what I want to do for a while.
Yeah.
So, like, doing stuff with you or Josh Bomar or the guys up in Spokane or, like, hopefully Waddell and T-Bone. So, like, just different people. And I want to go up and shoot with the best too. Like I want to go shoot with Paige. I want to shoot with Levi. Like, and I never want to lose. You know, and hopefully not the world championship. You know,
You're a good shot. I know we've talked about on the lift and shoot. You guys will see it, but James is a great archer for sure. We've had a lot of fun.
a lot, dude.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. How many arrows do you think we've shot together? Now it's a lot, dude. 100 at least.
Yeah, for sure. Some tough shots. I mean, yesterday you went after the record. So the record, I think, was 180 yards hitting the balloon. You know, not a giant balloon either. Just like
that big, yeah.
So you got that, and then we're like, we got to get over 200. So we got the truck back to 201, and shooting pretty damn good at 201 yards. Had a good spot to hold up on the hill, but putting the arrows pretty much peppering that thing, and we both ended up breaking the balloon twice on film. So that'll be fun. Well, supposedly on film. We'll see if this fuckhead actually got it.
and I know we talked about it, and I think, you know, at some point we're gonna have to try to shoot really far. Together. That's gonna be fun.
Might as well, whatever the world record is,
we got to beat it, right?
Might as well beat it.
Dude Perfect did a half mile. But
it was a
huge balloon. So I don't know if
it a world record or just like
it's in their video. I don't know if it's like legit.
Yeah, because I think the world record has to be on a FIDA face, but I'm not sure.
So maybe we got to look it up and legit like have Guinness come out.
I tried to do. So Truett had the world record pull-ups. He's got a couple more in right now for the application. I think he's gonna he'll get one more, but I put one in for fastest marathon running with a bow. I was going to carry a bow, and they denied it.
Really?
Yeah, that would have been a sick one. But we'll have to figure out how to get a world record and just make it happen.
Just long distance, dude.
That'd be fun.
What would be fun is to break it multiple times too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just move them back.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah, but yeah, shot good. Then today we had another little shooting session and went out there and pretty much all bombs. I mean,
what was our shortest shot? Like 72 or something?
Yeah, I mean, most of them, I think the coup de grace on the last one was shooting off one. So 1 foot, draw your bow, shoot off 1 foot from 122 yards.
Your shot was preposterous, dude. When you shot that, me and James just look at each other like, what was that, dude?
It was probably my most accurate shot on that far target all day.
That was your best shot of the week, the last 2 days, for sure. What a shot, dude. Your arrow just disappeared, and I was like, that's in the white pretty much, dude.
That pin was going everywhere.
Oh, dude. Mine wasn't even staying on the bail.
You know who wouldn't have been impressed? Joel.
Joel, yeah. I've done that lesson.
There was no shot IQ on that one.
Yeah. Shout out to Joel.
No, it was just the hammer, pin floating by, boom.
Yeah.
I think I timed
You basically
it good.
actually bap, bap, bap. I think I
Probably
heard the
did.
two-stroke.
Probably did.
You know? Yeah.
But hey, you got it in there.
Gosh, that was fun though. And then we did a few tough shots. The one under the neck, that one's gonna bother me for a while because if I just stood up, it would have been good.
This one was at 96.
But there was another target at 90,
He
right?
was trying to, 6 yards closer. It was at 89 actually, but you were trying to shoot under the neck of the mountain lion into the bedded whitetail. So you hit the neck of the mountain lion, which is 6 yards or 7 yards closer maybe, and shooting from 96. So, and you were on your knees. So I was thinking, you know what? If I just get an arrow in the buck,
That's a win.
I won this one. So I held right on the lion, couldn't even see the head of the whitetail, and just went into the head of the whitetail, just arcing over.
Hey.
But
Chess, not checkers.
you shooting first.
Yeah.
Without that, I wouldn't have known.
Well, what sucks too, where I hit it in the ear, had I have been standing, I guarantee I would have cleared over because I would have
seems
been
like I
3
would've.
feet higher.
Yeah,
know?
you'd think so.
Yeah. So anyway, but that was a cool shot. Cool, fun, tough shot. And then the kneeling, walking out from the tree. We did some scenarios.
Yeah, another tough one was standing, draw your bow standing, get down onto your knees with the bow still at full draw. And what was that like? How far was that shot?
78, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. Small target too, small pig.
On the pig. Yeah. Good one. Another one behind the tree, come to full draw, step out and shoot in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
At how far was that one?
Like 90 something. It was an elk, right? Like 98 or something. Yeah, and those 3 seconds go by fast.
They do. They do. And it's not like you're going to take a shot in 3 seconds at 90 yards.
No, dude.
But we hit foam. I think
Our shots weren't even bad.
No,
on that.
I think yours was
I was probably
high
an 8.
shoulder.
Yeah, front 8. And you were kind of like middle body, like last rib area. Yeah.
Would have killed it.
Yeah. Your shot was actually probably a better hunting shot. Mine would have hit the shoulder and bounced off.
But so that's the great thing about archery is just sitting there talking about shots.
Yeah.
It's like we're not hunting. No. We're just shooting our bow.
Yep.
And how fun was it?
Oh, it was a blast. I mean, James was chuckling behind the camera. We're having fun. It was great, and I always say too, what we were doing, none of those shots, like for the most part, like none of those are hunting shots we would take. But guess what we were doing? We were shooting our bow a lot. And guess what that does? It makes you a lot better at 30 yards.
Just reps, baby.
The more you shoot.
Reps.
Yep.
Yeah, and also I do like putting a little pressure on them because that's what hunting is. I'm everybody says it. I'm definitely better hunting than just screwing around. And I think some people say that like they can't shoot good, but they're like, well, on an animal.
Yeah.
But actually, on an animal, I am actually better. But whatever. I just can't. I have a hard time focusing. But that making it a competition like today.
Oh, it makes you focus.
It makes you focus.
Yeah, because you're like, I don't want to lose this.
That's a practice I need for sure.
For sure.
I mean, that's the best because we shoot every day, but it's sometimes I'm just out getting reps in. I mean, I'm not even. Whatever.
You're not that focused on
not
like
really
the pin
just
and
shooting the bow.
Yeah,
Just
that's why I
shooting the
think
bow.
shooting groups is really good too. Like because I compete with myself. I'll shoot like 4 or 5 arrows at a group, and I'll go.
Yeah.
I can shoot tighter than that.
Yeah.
Because it's just over and over shoot groups, and for me, it's like addicting. Just stand there and see how close I can get.
Yeah.
5 arrows. And I don't care if it's 20 yards, 40 yards, 80 yards, 100 yards, like whatever. But let's try to shoot tight.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So how did you like your setup? I mean, completely night and day different from my setup. I shoot Hoyt. Obviously, you shoot Bowtech. How did you select what you're using? I mean, what kind of process was that to get your bow and arrows and?
Yeah. I'm not like a huge setup nerd. I never really have been. For me, I only really am super keen on a few things. One is axle to axle length. I like to shoot bows for my hunting bows that are like 34 is my favorite. 33, 34 is my favorite. I don't want to shoot anything shorter than 32 personally. And then I like faster bows generally. They have more holding weight. So you can't get lazy on them. You got to keep them pulled back. And I think I just stay more locked in than if a bow I can just sit there and I'm not having to put in any effort. So kind of an aggressive bow, that axle to axle. And then for me, it's really, really important to have the peep and the sight housing have a perfect fitment. Like that's so huge for my accuracy. And aside from
I think
that,
people miss that.
I think people miss it all the time.
Yeah, I think that's something that hasn't been talked about enough is that having that peep and that sight housing match up exactly. Because then we use a peep sight. I have a nose button. I have a kisser button. But I don't know if anything's as important as matching that. It's just so easy to make sure you're dialed in, on matching those two circles.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I'll shoot someone else's bow and right away, I mean, granted, everyone's eyes and anchors are a little bit different, but so many times I think people's peeps are way too big. So like there's a ton of daylight around the outside. And I'm like, that's so much room for air.
Yeah.
You might think it's like perfectly in the center, but how do you know when it's like a ring, So aside from those things, I just try to shoot a lot and like get real comfortable with my setup. I personally think a lot of people chase their tail around way too much and like are chasing gear to get better rather than just like shooting a lot more.
And then what broadheads are you using?
So this year I used Beast broadheads and 2-blade expandables. But the last probably 10 years I used Rage, usually Trypan. And then before that I used the Muzzies with the screw-on cap for like before that.
What are those?
Remember just the OG Muzzies with 3 blades and the little cap?
Yeah.
So I used those for a long time. And then Rage, which I loved. And then I really like these Beasts now. So I've been running those this season.
Then what arrows?
I've been running DCA arrows, deer crossing archery.
How'd you select those? I never even heard of them.
They sent me some to try, and they're way cheaper. They're like a quarter of the price of like a standard, like whatever, an Easton or a Victory or Black or Gold Tip or whatever. And I was like, I'll try them, and they fly like really well, and I was like, okay, well, I'll run these. So I've just been running them, and they're really good arrows, man. And like I run the standard diameters, but they make all different diameters. But yeah, I love them. So like arrow, I usually run about 420 grains. I don't change my arrows like ever for hunting or target shooting, other than the really light ones I brought for 200 yards, which were like 350, 60 grains.
They're flying good.
Yeah, fast, fast and low. Because what you were at like 70 on your tape, right? Wasn't I like 45?
Yeah.
Because they're flying so flat.
Yeah, my arrows are 491.
Yeah.
And that was just my elk hunting arrow, basically. Or
So
I use it for everything.
So you were probably like, I would guess like 270, 280
Something
feet a
like
second.
that, yeah.
I was probably 330 plus.
Yeah.
So hot,
Makes a difference for sure.
Yeah.
But both the bows were dialed in and laying them in there at 200.
For sure. We were peppering that target, dude.
And that's such good practice because people will say, they'll look at that and be like, think you're like, that's a hunting shot or something. It's like, no, it's not a hunting shot. It's just great practice because if you do anything technique-wise wrong, you're missing that fucking block.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, if you're, like I said, with the peep fitment, if you're not perfectly aligned on everything, your grip's consistent, your nose on the string in the same place, your peeps lined up perfect, shot breaks clean, like if you're not doing all those things at 200 yards, you're yard sailing that thing 5 feet to the right.
Yeah.
And guess what? Again, like we talked about, that makes your shot at 25 yards a lot easier.
Yeah.
A lot easier.
I mean, we didn't even get to like under 70 today, but if we would have, it would have been chip shots. And that's what we're preparing for in hunting. People always ask me, what's your effective range in hunting, or how close do you need to be? And I'm just like, or how far do you need to be? I'm like 20 yards. I'm trying to get 20 yards on everything.
Me too.
And if I can shoot 200 accurately, well then 20 yards, I'm going to be able to pick a hair.
For sure. Yeah. I call it TPL, top pin lifestyle, is my favorite.
That's all. I just want to see how close I can get.
For sure. Yeah. I love that about bow hunting. I mean, like I love to get in there tight, especially spot and stalk. I shot my best stalk. I got a few, but probably my best stalk was on a muley, bedded down. I shot him at 6 yards. And he was sleeping.
Do you remember what pin you used?
Probably top.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it was like straight down. Unless I'm shooting at like a tiny 12 ring at a tournament.
Yeah.
At like 9 yards.
Yeah.
That's different. Like I actually do have to shoot for like 47 or 50 or something.
We used to do like there's a 3-yard shot on this 3D shoot we used to do here, and you had to use your 50-yard pin. That's why I asked. I didn't know if you had to consciously think about that on that shot or not.
Yeah. But no, it is wild like how that works. I had an engineer explain it to me. It has to do with the distance between your D loop and your peep is how you aim.
Your line of sight's here. So your arrow's below your line of sight. So that's why when it's close, it hasn't even come up yet.
Right.
So that you have to use that 50 to get it up. So you're going to hit.
Yep.
Once it comes and crosses that line of sight, that's when it gets into 20 yards, and 30 yards, and 40 yards.
Into that plane.
And everything else. But yeah, it's I mean, most people aren't getting 3-yard shots, so it's not going to come up. But
that was my best like stock, and then I've shot.
How'd you get that close? Did you take your boots off?
I always do.
Yeah.
I got stocking shoes. Yeah, so that's like my thing. I try to get in really tight, take a long time. Sometimes I'll glass up a deer and watch him bed up, and I'll check the weather and be like, well, in 7 hours, the wind's going to pick up to 10 miles an hour. I'll go then. I'll just sit and wait them out, and then go in. And that deer was just like, he bedded in like the perfect, like he bedded right at the top of this pyramid hill, winds blowing over the pyramid hill. I go, oh, dude, if I get to the top, I thought he would be, but it kind of tripped me out because I'm glassing. I'm like, I think he'll be 25 from the top. I get up there, I'm looking for him, bro. He's just like sleeping
right there.
Right. I mean, like at the American flag right there.
Wow.
Yeah. 4x4. Just out, dude.
Mudwater is a Healthy Habits brand best known for its popular caffeine alternative. It's got 4 functional mushrooms, and the purpose is to never leave you feeling jittery. Don't get me wrong, I love coffee and usually drink 5 to 6 cups a day, but Mudwater has helped me cut back a little bit, especially once afternoon hits. I still even throw a little Mudwater in with my coffee, and they have a really good coffee creamer with MCT oil. Each ingredient was added for a purpose. Cacao and chai for a hint of caffeine and hot chocolate-like flavor. Lion's mane for focus, and both chaga and reishi to support healthy immune system. Plus, it's Whole30 approved, 100% USDA certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher. Mudwater donates monthly to support psychedelic research and has since day one. They believe the country is in a mental health epidemic and that psychedelic-assisted therapy is one of the most effective tools we have to treat mental health conditions. Mudwater is hooking up my show with a special offer. If you go to mudwater.com/Cam Hanes, you get a free frother and $20 off. That's mudwater.com/Cam Hanes for a free frother and $20 off. I put my body through a lot. I've found that Ketone IQ has helped give me an edge when I'm running. I actually won my latest ultra and made sure I had some ketones to take throughout the race. I'm already drinking so much caffeine in a day. I really like that ketones provide a clean energy with no sugar or added caffeine. Ketones provide a ton of benefits to the body, the biggest being cognitive function. So I even down a shot before I podcast, and I feel like it helps me think more clearly. I'm all for anything that makes me smarter because the guests I have on here are top performers in their field, and I need all the help I can get. Ketone IQ is giving listeners of this podcast a great deal. They're offering you 30% off your first subscription order of Ketone IQ at ketone.com/Cam. Do you wear face paint? Or do you wear gloves or put anything in your hand, or just kind of try to stay in the shadows?
I have a neck gaiter that I love because I spend a ton of time glassing. Like I get the Tricer tripod going. Shout out to Tricer. Get the tripod going, and I'll sit there for hours in the sun, just glassing desert. And like I have to have something covering my face and ears or I'll get burnt up. And then for stock, same thing. And for shooting, I don't like gloves or stuff on my face to mess with my anchor, but that gaiter is so thin that it's like it's skin tight. It's nothing, And so I have that like up to here. Sometimes I'll put it usually right below my nose so I can still hit direct to my nose on the anchor. Yeah. But as far as my hands, no, I won't shoot in gloves, but I will sometimes like paint up my hands.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering, because when you're trying to get that close to mule deer, they can see the flash of your hands and your face and things like that. It's
Yep.
Yeah, once we started filming, it's a little bit. What I learned is that by myself I can get pretty close, but when I have a cameraman, it's better if I can stay back and shoot that animal relaxed at further distance than trying to get two guys within 30 yards.
For sure.
Or 20 yards.
For sure.
I can shoot at 60, be able to communicate with the cameraman and, wait for the animal to be relaxed, take my time, much higher odds.
Yep.
So that's when we started to film, that's when I started to realize, God, I could up my odds by being able to shoot a little further.
Dude, for sure. And I think actually as I became, over the years, more and more knowledgeable about hunting these deer, spot and stalk, like when they're laying down, you know. Nowadays, I like to get to 40 yards and just sit and wait them out. 5, 6, however long I have to, I'll just sit and wait. But I don't want to get within 40 generally.
Yeah, the wind can give you up just one little
anything. And 40 gives you a little more room for air. And it's like I'm gonna pinwheel them at 40. Like I'm gonna pinwheel them. You can range everything, so that way when he stands up and walks out, you already know, okay, you walk by that bush, it should be about 43, or whatever. But yeah, I think that's such a good way to hunt. And I learned that actually from Jim Burnworth's show. He said that when he stalks in on big bucks, he'll like post up at 40.
Okay.
And not move in.
Yeah.
I still do sometimes, because sometimes he might have a time constraint or think the weather's going to swap or something. It's like, I might be better being a little more aggressive here. Like the coos I just shot a few weeks ago, I had sat down and was waiting at about 50. But the guy who was glassing for me had to go to like a important meeting at a bank. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to push in there then. Like if I spook him, it's not the end of the world. And I thought I was going to spook him. I really did. And he's right under a mesquite bush. And I'm like, okay, I see 3 mesquite bushes. There's one of them. Come around the first one. I'm like, don't see him. Come around the second one. I see it casting shade. I go, guaranteed, Bro, he's just bedded right under this tree. And I'm 32 yards.
Was it wide open to him?
Pretty much. But I was lucky I had a cactus and a little bush between us. But he saw me kind of come around the corner and I was like, okay, this is it. Like I got to draw and shoot. And I could see luckily which way he was laying. Put the pin right on his front shoulder. Drew, and then he perked up and I'm like, this was a 3-second shot. Get the shot off because those coos are fast. When they stand up, they're gone. Dude, hit him right through the front shoulder. I watch him run off, and he does a loop and just tops over.
You shot him bedded?
Yep, 32.
Oh, nice.
It's only the second deer I've shot actually bedded. Usually I'll wait for him to get up. Because a lot of times you can't see the direction they're facing. But in this case, I was fortunate I could see his orientation.
Yeah, and it can be weird. Sometimes they'll lay more on the shoulder. Sometimes they're more on their chest, on their sternum, straight up. Sometimes they'll lean over a little bit and it changes that angle when you're trying to study. Because I've done that with elk before. I shot an elk that was laying down. Freaking did not get any penetration.
Oh, because his shoulder had it all locked up.
Yeah, and it went, and he didn't know what the hell happened, so he stood up. I knocked an arrow quick, shot him again. But it almost cost me that I almost screwed that up.
Yeah, and it does really change that bone configuration when they're laid up. He was laying a little more, not totally on his side, but a little bit on his side. And yeah, the shot was, really, it was a good shot for sure, but. Yeah, spot and stalk hunting, man. It's something about it I just love. I think it's so hard to do. It
is hard.
Yeah.
It is. Have you ever got in close and tried to get one to stand up, throw something over them?
I have. So actually, I've done that several times. I did it on the coos actually, because like I said, there was a time constraint. And I'm like, okay, I was pretty sure I saw his orientation. But I was like, I'm not positive. So I was like, well, I can try the rocks. We really had to go.
On this one that you just shot?
The one I just got. So I tossed a rock like this. And then he flinched and looked where I threw it. And that was what showed me the direction.
Oh, I see.
So I got lucky. It was either he was going to stand up, spook,
Yeah.
or look at it and give me the orientation. And thankfully it worked.
Okay.
So I did it that time. I've done it a couple of other times. And honestly, I haven't had good luck with it.
No.
I wouldn't suggest it.
It's hit or miss. I did it in Utah one time. This was on Lee and Tiffany show, The Crush.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why it aired on their show, but it did. Anyway, I snuck in. I was about 9 yards from this buck, nice 4x4. It's in here somewhere. But I was sitting there ready, and I just freaking I launched a rock over him, and he stood up and he looked at me. But by that time, right when I threw it, I drew back, and he stood up and looked at me and just smoked him.
Yeah,
but,
and you got to be quick on it.
Fast.
So I'll hook my release to the bow, then toss it, and before it even lands,
you got to pull.
You know,
you have to.
If you wait at all, it's over.
Yeah,
it's.
I know a lot of people have tried that and had it blow up on them, but I tried it I did it that time and worked perfect. It was. It is probably still. You can probably still look it up. It was called. What was it called? Anyway, I killed a bull. It was the bull that I was in a tree stand and I got down and shot.
Oh, is that video?
Yeah,
that was on Crush.
Yeah, it was called Doubled Up in Utah or something like that.
They post all their stuff on YouTube now, I think. So you should be able to find it.
It was from years ago. But,
that's a cool video. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like spot and stalking. Like that's how I hunt elk mostly too. I'm not like a big caller. Usually, when I elk hunt, ideally if they're making noise, like I love to just stalk in and hunt on the edge of the bubble, and like I love to stay there for hours. And like at first you're 100 yards, and then 70, and then eventually you're like in the group. There's nothing like that.
As long as the wind holds.
As long as the wind holds.
Yeah, I would much rather, and that's how I've killed most of my bulls, a spot and stalk, like kind of just. I don't want to make a call because then they're looking at wherever you are. Yep. I'd rather just get in tight like that and just let that bull. If you can get in close to the herd, the bull is eventually probably going to come by.
For sure.
He's going to check the cows.
Yep.
And I've killed quite a few bulls doing that. And I think that's the best way to do it, just because my ultimate bow hunt is to kill an animal and have it never know I'm there.
That's the best.
And that's when I do that, I'm like, I did it right. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just what I'm not judging I'm not saying anybody else.
That's just your thing.
But for me, just to be able to kill that animal, have them never know I was there and run off and die in seconds, it's just like, okay.
It's nothing like
it's what it's supposed to be like.
I agree, dude. I did a hunt, I think it was 2017, solo in the desert. Dude, glassed up this buck. It was the same situation I talked about earlier. It was like 100 degrees, so I bet him down at like 7, but I wasn't positive. He's like in this ditch, and there's no wind, dead. I'm like, there's no chance I can get in there and get him right now. So I check the weather, go in like 7 hours later when the wind picks up. Still 100 degrees, but the wind's a little better. I'm not even sure he's there. Like I can't see him, but I'm pretty sure he's in this ditch.
The key with situations like that, here's what people mess up on, is they assume it's gone.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You have to always, in fact, you have to always assume it's still there until you know for a fact. Because so many people are like, oh, he's gone. Then they jump up on a rock and it's like, no, they were still right there. You're just off a little bit.
Yep. So it was a half mile from where I was glassing. And I go in there. I had a good fence post that just happened to be running through.
That was your landmark?
I had a good landmark. The wind was good. I get in there, but I have no clue if the buck's there. But I stalk in just like he was, my shoes on, the whole deal. Get in there.
Shoes on or off?
I have my stalking shoes on.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so like my hunting shoes. No pack, just a rangefinder bow. That's it. And
quiet, stealth.
Oh, big time. Yeah, I go in super minimal. I get in there. I'm on this little like finger between two ravines. And I'm like right on the tip. I'm like, if he's here, he's like right here. Right as I'm thinking that, my feet are burning too, dude. It's so thin, and the rocks it's 100 degrees, so the rocks are probably even hotter. My feet are like burning. All of a sudden, I see something flicker in the bushes, and he's just bedded right in front of me, dude. Like it was like 18 yards. He starts rolling around like a dog, playing around.
Ooh.
Crazy. I have an arrow nocked. He eventually gets up, dips down in this ditch, and shoot him straight down through the, like, perfect shot. He jumps out of the ditch, stands there facing away, just starts, every heartbeat is just pumping blood, and then
he had no idea.
No clue.
Yeah.
He didn't even know he was hit.
That's beautiful.
Because he did this, like, what's up, and then just out. And like you said, that is like, that. How could you have a better hunt than that? You made a great shot. It was super ethical. It killed him quick. Your hunting skills were good. Yeah. That's what it's about for me, bow hunting.
Me too. Yeah, it's Yeah, there's so much that goes into it, and to have it all come together on something like that, it just like it's such a relief too. Because as a bow hunter, that's our goal. You know, you want it to be a merciful, quick kill. You want to do your job. You want to do everything you've practiced over and over and over. And when that works so perfectly like that, oh my gosh, it's such a not a great feeling, but more like a relief that I offered this animal merciful death.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious. So, you had your dad get you started bow hunting. Who was like everybody has these idols they look up to. You know, for me, it was like we looked at the bow rack today. We stopped in there. I had to check on a bow for my next guest, but they had a poster of Larry D. Jones. He's from right here, and he had these videos called Elk Fever when we first started. So it was Larry D. Jones. Chuck Adams is somebody who I've always admired. Randy Ulmer was he's super popular. But who would you look up to when you were a young bow hunter?
Yeah, I mean, Chuck was it for me. You know, like Chuck and Michael were it for me. I was watching everything those guys would do, like I wore a beanie hunting the little with the bill for like at least 10 years.
Trying to be like Chuck.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Chuck's such a legend. And I always looked up to him when I was like, I was probably his youngest fan, like when I was like 5 or 6, I'm wearing this beanie hat in the backyard hunting rabbits, like legitimately. And then Michael, just like same thing, popping into Monster Bucks VHS tapes and every year watching those. And he's just, man, we talked about it off camera.
Good on camera.
Well, he's good on camera. What a shot.
Yeah.
Man. What a shot. That guy he just pinwheels at everything.
It seemed like he's automatic.
Like you said, you would look like that's the perfect spot to hit it. There's Michael's arrow every time, dude.
Yeah, he's a killer for sure.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to do a collab with him. That'd be awesome.
Have you talked to him at all?
I've talked to T-Bone, and I think we're going to line it out. So to me, that would be nuts.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It'd be really cool. It would be really, that episode you guys did I was so stoked to see he was a guest because, to me, those were the two guys that were like, legend still though to me.
Yeah, Michael, for TV, he was OG as far as entertainment and then just being a great bow hunter too. But yeah, as far as being a personality on TV, just couldn't be any better. No, so good. And just a star. He's a freaking star.
He's a huge star. I mean, there's no question about that.
Whereas Chuck is pretty much night and day different as far as entertainment, and like hardly never on TV, never doing any video. But I remember when I was a kid reading his stuff coming up. Remember one year he killed, I think, like 10 Pope and Young animals. And I was just like, how? I mean, I was trying to kill one a year, or like, I don't even know if a year, like just kill one. Yeah. It's something to kill a Pope and Young animal. Yeah. He killed 10. And I'm just like, how was this guy, it just seemed, it seemed
like impossible,
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and I was scrolling his Instagram like the other day because someone shared that bull he shot. Yeah. I'm on his page and he's like, I think he's shot like 8 or 9 bison with a bow. Really? Who's done that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's like, he's done so much, and it's just so cool to see, and is just a proficient hunter. Yeah, no doubt.
And still, like in his 70s, killing a 400-inch bull.
Isn't that something?
Stud.
Yeah, stud big time. Yeah. I always like Lee Lukowski too. I always thought Lee was really, really good. Like I'd watch him, and I was like, this guy is a very good hunter.
Yeah, he's engineer, I think, by trade. So he, as far as the equipment goes and being analytical about it, just obsessed. Yeah. And then so obsessed with big animals. Oh, yeah. It's always about the oldest, biggest buck. That as far as growing big whitetail, they're some of the best in the world at it. Him and Tiffany, and they both killed great bulls this year in Montana. But just an assassin with a bow. It's freaking
yeah. Dude, I just watched you know how it is in YouTube, you get like down an algorithm, and
Yeah.
I think I watched like 4 of the recent videos, just like had them in the background while I was like working on the computer, and then one was a bison hunt, he had an elk hunt, like they were all bangers.
Lee did?
Lee did.
Bison. I didn't know he did
I
that.
think it was like 2 years ago.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, in Montana, big old bull bison. Yeah, it was a sick hunt too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. They have this dope clip where the glasser on the hill, you know how that perspective, especially if it's a straight line, you just can't tell.
Looks right on top of him.
It looks like he's right next to this bull, but it's like over a rise, so they can't see it.
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
camera guy's like, turn to the left.
Yeah, yeah.
Turn to the left, but they can't hear him, you know?
It's so weird
and it's
how
probably
that,
400 yards.
Probably, yeah.
You know?
It's so weird how, and then like the spotter's getting mad. He's right there.
He's right next to you.
And I've had that before. I'm like, he was 150 yards away. What are you talking about? But it looks like right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's, I mean, there's so many high emotions in bow hunting, and when you try to film it, and then
filming's hard, dude.
When we try to, when it's something that we obsess about every single day, man, that makes for high emotion on a hunt. And that's been, you know, I don't know about you, but that's been probably the toughest part of hunting with me. Is it means so much. I'm freaking psycho.
My friends know, anyone who's hunted with me knows I'm a lunatic.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, hunting's what I think I'm best at doing. And like, but it's because I'm a maniac. So like I click a different gear, and it's like jump out of beds way early, like always we're so amped up and ready and just go hard. Like I go hard, you know, whether that means sit a bazillion hours if that's what it takes. Glass, whatever it takes. I always say that. Like, I think especially elk hunting, I think I see a lot of guys go into it, bow hunting, and they say, well, I have to get them calling on the ground this exact way. And oftentimes, sometimes that is the best way to get them. But other times it's like, if you really want to just shoot a bull with your bow, maybe sit a tree on a good trail. Like there's so many, I'm always thinking like, okay, what is my best place to stack all my chips for this specific hunt? And I'll just go to the end of time with like, if I'm convinced it's the best way.
Yeah, it's
and every hunt's different.
No, you can't really get boxed in on a tactic or a, you know, you look at the animal, you look at the country, you look at the situation with the weather and different things, and then you just, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You got to put it together, and it's not going to go together the same way every time, but you come up with a different tactic. And, you know, I climbed a tree and killed a bull. I don't remember ever doing that. Oh no, I did that. I did that on the type bull. So my 2 best bulls, I've climbed trees, no tree stand, just like, hey, and they asked me, why'd you climb the tree? I'm just like, I thought it was the best option at the time.
Exactly.
And that was, you know, I didn't plan it.
Nope.
But, well, I planned the last one. On that one, I didn't plan. And, you know, it's my best bull.
And look at that. To me, that's when you know, like, your hunting is proficient, because you're not just lumped into saying, I'm going to do it this way, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm going to find out the best way to, I always look at it like, where am I going to stack all of my time and energy? And I want to find out the best way to do it, you know? And you just got to go into a hunt saying, let me assess the information.
Gotta be open.
And then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it changes. It's malleable.
Yeah. And I think for calling, you can kill a bull. Like there at San Carlos, you can kill a bull calling in, no problem. I don't know, I'm gonna say no problem. It's still bow hunting. A lot of shit can go wrong.
A lot can go wrong.
To kill a big bull, calling's gonna be tough.
Because they've been around that.
They're old. They're old. They're 8-10 years old. They've seen a lot. They've done a lot. They've probably people call there. It gets hunted. So I think calling in a big bull anywhere is usually not the best option for killing it. It's
no.
Spot and stalk, trying to be quiet, stalk the bugle, maybe take advantage of water, like, coming into a tank, something else other than they just know the call-in routine.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know what? I mean, I totally get it. If someone's never hunted elk before, it's like all you see on YouTube or the show.
It's incredible. A bull coming in bugling.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane,
yeah,
right?
Amazing.
But there's always a difference between, do you want to like have the dream, or do you want the do you want the meat in the freezer? And
Yeah.
like sometimes both can align,
Yeah.
but not always.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like you got to sometimes be a little flexible. And I think elk hunting, you just see that the most because, again, the content's usually relatively similar. You're getting the crazy footage of bull screaming coming in, like, you know. And man, I've been in some of the craziest rut fests ever and just been like, this is the best day of my life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And that can happen and no kill.
I didn't get one.
I mean, that's what
I didn't get one.
That's where bow hunting can be
Best day of my life, though.
so frustrating
Yeah.
or so memorable is you can be surrounded by bulls.
Yep.
I mean, I've had bulls fighting and got into like 25 yards and not killed either one. And I'm like, how in the hell did I not get a bull killed right there?
Yeah, it's just like a lot of stuff has to align. But like, dude, this one day I was hunting and it was like kind of later in the morning. So I'm kind of thinking like the morning's like maybe about wrapped up. Like it's quiet for a long time. All of a sudden I hear like a faint bugle, long ways. I'm by myself. Go over there and I'm like, all of a sudden there's like a couple popping off. And I'm like, okay, I kept going. I'm like, maybe it's hunters. Like it just doesn't make sense, time of day and everything. Did I get over there? I end up spending like 7 or 8 hours with a herd of like 200 elk.
Wow.
And before long, like I said, I was initially at 200 yards and eventually I'm like,
In the
smelled
middle
like
of
a
them.
petting zoo, dude.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle and there was
What state was this?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Good unit too. But there was giant bulls just everywhere. Like one looked like a moose with all this palming. One was like a 7, like big 7. And dude, it was so fun because we were covering so much mileage, like with this herd. I was like, I have no clue where I am. Like we're so far out, right? Dude, we get to this one point and I'm pacing, skirting the herd like over here. And I'm probably 150 yards to their right with wind good. And I'm looking over at the cow, the front cow. And all of a sudden she stops and like goes like this. And I'm like, what's she looking at? So I look forward. We had got to like a main road.
Oh.
And she double checked. And then she goes, all right, we're going. And me and the elk are sprinting across the road.
Whoa.
Me and this huge herd of elk.
Wow.
I'm hustling up this hill, dude.
Yeah.
A car drives by and I'm like, they think that I'm the biggest lunatic. Just running parallel in this herd. I get to the top, dude. Winded, right? Bulb screams right next to me, dude. It was like a giant bull. Like one of the bulls you got in here, bugles like 35 yards right next to me. So I draw, turns and walks away.
Oh my God.
That was like halfway. So
Yeah.
we covered like, it ended up being, I think, 8 miles I covered with this herd.
Yeah.
Didn't get one. But it was still one of the most incredible
Yeah,
days.
it
I did
sounds
shoot a
like
bull
it.
that trip. I shot
Yeah.
a good 6x6. But that trip, dude, like, it's every once in a while hunting. Like I always say, time in the field is so valuable
Yep.
because you never know when you're going to have a day like that.
When the magic's going to happen. Yeah. What do you think is the key to your bow hunting success? If you had to say something.
Well, obviously shooting a lot, you know, I think shooting a lot is key, but really I think it's just, I have always had a good instinct for animals and like understanding them and knowing what to do. I have like a very good instinct.
Was that from being out there when you're 3 and 5 years old?
I think so.
Shooting rabbits?
I do think so.
I
Yeah.
think you learn how to move around animals. You learn how to read things.
100%.
And you're not even thinking about it. You're
Nope.
just like learning.
No, I for some reason I like, my dad always says, he goes, James is just like, he's just a killer. That's what he does. Like it's crazy. Like my friends don't get it. They're like, how does a guy do it? But for me, it's like, I think I've done it since I was so young that it's so ingrained in me that like, I just know most of the time my instinct and like, I need to go around this rock this way and then around that bush and then down this way. And then it's like, it almost always kind of pans out how I think it will. And I wish everyone had that. But like I hunt with other people and it's just like,
I don't.
You need so much time to get that. I'm
Yeah.
sure you do because like you've been in the field
Yeah.
forever. Like I'm
No,
sure you have great instinct.
I don't want everybody to
Oh
have
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, like you got to earn it. You know,
Yeah.
like realistically, even though I'm relatively young, like I've been bow hunting for real for 25 years.
Wow.
Legitimately, like I got
Yeah.
so you know that's a long time.
That is.
And you have like since whatever the 80s or 90s when you started, like
50s.
50s. Yeah. That's a lot of time though.
Yeah.
And I just don't think the instinct, honestly, I don't know that everyone can get the hunting IQ.
Yeah, I've always said that. Just like with anything, is you're gonna have, with any endeavor, there's gonna be people who are good at it, people who are okay at it, and people who suck at it. Hunting is no different. So it's no different than anything else. You're gonna have people who are just good hunters. They're just good at whatever, just reading information, making decisions, reading the animal's body language, having the right instinct. Not everybody's going to have it. And that's just the way it goes. Yeah. But yeah, it sounds like you have it. So that probably feels good.
It's just the time, dude. It's just like, I'm very fortunate to have got into it so young, but,
what the hell is getting and doing? Thumbs up. Oh, thumbs up?
Thumbs up. But yeah, I mean, I still, and another thing I think that has really helped me continue to progress and not plateau is that every single hunt I go on, I always am trying to think of like, okay, what could I have done to be a little bit better, a little bit more proficient? I do that every single day I get back to camp.
Yeah.
Like I never try to stop learning because I think when you're like, okay, I got it, I'm like, I'm good. Then it's like, you're going to kind of like taper off or just stay the same. I don't want to stay the same. I want to try to like consistently get better and more efficient.
Yeah.
And I think if you're always really racking your brain every time you come back, like what could I have done even 1% better?
Yeah.
But over a lot of years, those percent add up.
Yeah, it compounds.
Yeah,
I remember I was on a roll for a while where I killed 9 bulls in a row with one arrow. And I'm like, I got this shit.
Yeah.
I got it. I can, I was like, I got it figured out. No. No, bowhunting will humble your ass in a hurry.
God, I got humbled bad last year, dude.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where if you don't have the attitude of always evolving, always learning, then you're going to learn some tough lessons. And so now, that was years ago. Now I'm pretty much kind of mirroring your attitude is like, I want to learn. I want to get better every single time out, every time out. And I do learn.
Yeah, dude.
Every time.
I guarantee you ask Chuck Adams if he was here. I bet he says the same thing.
Yeah.
I bet he's still learning,
Yeah. And bow hunting is also something you're never going to master.
Oh, no.
Like I see these guys shooting, the Vegas shoots and they're shooting 300s and all these X's. Like you can master archery in some respects. Still, they're amazing. They're amazing to be able to shoot like that, but they've sort of mastered that aspect of it. Bow hunting, you'll never master.
There's too many elements.
Way too many variables. You got the animal's reaction. You got the wind, you got all these things like, just shooting a bow on a line in a building, you don't have any of that. You can take as long as you want. You can, relax, do all those things, focus. Hunting, sometimes you got to shoot that 3-second shot
or your footing's goofy. And
something.
It's like, there's so much to it. Angles, weather,
right.
Animal reacts, like, you just never know.
It's just never going to be something that anybody masters. And that's sort of the most beautiful thing about it, because the people who are obsessed and always learning and just pouring themselves into it, that generally who's going to have the success over long periods of time. And that's how I like it. I like it where you got to earn that shit.
I think what I have always loved about bow hunting the most is just how hard it is. I've always loved that, and I think there's just a beauty in pulling stuff off that's really hard.
Yeah.
Whether that's a crazy long run, like I'm sure a lot of the allure, I've never ran 100 miles, but I'm sure when you do, I guarantee a big part of it is finishing something super hard.
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of wants that 100-mile belt buckle. Like you finish a 100-mile race, usually you get a cool belt buckle. That sounds great. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Yeah. Getting it sucks.
It sucks. Yeah. Right.
but yeah, it is. There's something about just pouring yourself into something and having it pay off. That's bow hunting.
Yep.
I like that there's really no shortcuts.
No. Definitely not.
I mean, you got to somehow get into bow range and get a good arrow in them. And then you got to kind of turn into do a little autopsy, read blood sometimes, track them down. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. And as long as it's, public land over the counter on a weekend and on the ground spot and stock with a recurve, then it counts.
It has to be what everybody can do.
Yes.
So if you kill on a Wednesday, what if people have to work on a Wednesday? That's not going to count.
Nope, doesn't count.
No. If you're in a tree stand,
definitely doesn't count.
It's not hunting.
Yeah, I've technically only shot one bull. Yeah.
No, we're joking because people get so psycho about everything.
Oh yeah.
But
we gotta stop. Hunters gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, we do. So tell me, with Bow Disciples, so I know what your goal is to keep growing archery.
Yep.
Who's your and you mentioned Waddell, but who's your dream guest to shoot against?
Yeah.
I mean, Paige, are you going to shoot with Paige, did you say?
I got to. Yeah, I think we're going to.
Have you talked to her?
A little. I did one of those question boxes on Instagram, and it was who should I shoot against, and she came up, and I shared it, and then she shared it. So that's I assume
she knows you're alive.
We both shoot bow tech, so I'm I think that'll happen. Yeah, and I would love that one. I think it'd be great.
Yeah,
and then Levi would be awesome. I want to shoot with guys or gals who are really good. I like shooting with people who are either phenomenal personalities or have a lot of skill. I want to be tested. I want the Vegas odds against me, and I want to try to bring it home.
Who has anybody beat you in a shooter? I mean, who's been
other than the world championships?
Well, me, but I mean, who's been the best shooter you've shot against so far?
Probably you, I would say.
Just because of the world championships?
No, you're a good, consistent shooter. Josh Jones is really good. But my local friend Chuck, who's in quite a few of the videos. Actually, his name's Chuck Adams, which is crazy.
Is he a good shot?
He's very good.
Really?
Yeah, Chuck's always on my ass. I usually get him, but if I slump at all, he's right there. And actually, Chuck's probably one of the best shooters I shoot with on a regular basis.
Does he shoot a bow tech too?
No, Hoyt. Yeah.
What bow? Do you know?
VTM 33.
Yeah, that's I think last year's bow.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
No, what did I shoot?
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Last
year was Alpha X. Yeah, VTM was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's what he shoots. Yeah. But
that's a good bow.
He's very good. Very, very good shooter.
It's part of it is the bow, but a lot of it is how you have it set up.
For sure, and just how often you're shooting, dude.
Yeah, the reps. Yeah, nobody can just magically say, oh, here, I set this bow up for you, you're going to shoot it great. No.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
You got to get out. Except I did shoot your bow very good today.
You did. You dropped a perfect, it was actually a 12.
I don't know if we can, I should just say fucking show it, because last time I did that, I think with Dan Staten, I shot his bow, he shot my bow. We didn't put it in there because whatever. I mean,
you can put it. Yeah, you can put me shooting another bow. It don't matter. My shot wasn't impressive, unfortunately. I'll tell you though, I did break the shot with the pin right on the middle.
Then that's a perfect shot.
I know.
Yeah, because it's all about that break.
It broke right in the 12.
I would happily miss an animal as long as my execution was right.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's another inside joke.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would. Well, on most of these animals in here, I did not break a perfect shot. I just hammered that trigger at the right time.
Hammered it, baby. Hey, you know what? Drive it home.
I know.
Rev up that 2-stroke. I love it.
No, but how great is Wayne's little farm out there to shoot?
It was great, dude. Yeah, I loved it. It's first of all, you can shoot at distance.
Yeah.
You shoot a lot of different angles.
But only 201.
Well, I think we can get further.
Yeah.
We gotta kind of change things up.
Get creative.
But I love the different angles you can shoot.
Yeah.
The property's beautiful. There's a lot of targets. It was awesome. And then the bow rack was it's a nice shop. You know, I've never been before, so it was really cool. It's very well organized. A lot of inventory, like meeting Wayne was cool. I love the historical. You know, I'm a bow hunting nerd, so it was cool to go in there and see that old, you know, the old bows and everything he's doing.
It's
cool.
amazing how, you know, bows, yes, they've changed a lot, but in some ways they haven't changed much. I mean, they had those shoot through risers from back in
60s, right?
The 60s.
Is that what it was?
And they're still shooting those.
Yep.
You know, they're still Hoyt. I just saw a brand new one at Hoyt just on Friday. So it's just pretty funny. I mean, a lot of it, they've come a long way as far as efficiencies where, you know, back when I first started, I'd have to shoot 90 pounds to get like about 240 feet a second.
Yeah.
You know, so
Isn't
the bows
that crazy?
have become way more efficient. I think right now the efficiency quotient is about 85% efficient, which you can't really go too much further. You know, and keep it primitive, essentially. So as far as technology, now it's just a matter of making them easier to tune, quieter, smoother, more forgiving. And they're, you know, Hoyt somehow did that with this brand new one.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were shooting it good too.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, what a great place to shoot, like you said, and just that's what I want more people to do is have cool places to shoot and go shoot with your buddies. And
what when you shoot with other people like that you mentioned, do you learn from them, or are you pretty set in your ways? Or like say you were able to shoot with Levi Morgan, one of the greatest to ever do it. What do you think? You think you would learn something? Would you ask him questions, or would you just observe?
Yeah, no, I'm sure I'm always observant, so I'd definitely be doing that. And yeah, if I see something he's doing that I'm like, what is that for? What's the purpose of that? Definitely I would ask. I'm a learner, so I like to learn. With archery, I'm pretty like my form has pretty much been the same for like a long time as
does the string hit the tip of your nose or to the side?
Always a tip.
Tip. Okay, yeah. But no nose button. But you got the same spot, corner of your mouth?
No, so I actually run my string a little deeper than most people, like probably a little bit above my mouth, but I don't really have face pressure or very little, but it's just such a repeatable anchor. I do a couple things like a little bit unique. One, I hold the release really deep, and the reason I do that is because if I'm holding it as deep as it'll go in my hand, it's the same every time. Like you just go till it stops, it's going to be the same. So I've shot like that a long time. And then my anchor is pretty vertical compared to a lot of guys like that shoot a handheld. A lot of them shoot, and I've shot a handheld for like I was early on that train. I think I jumped on one in 04 or something. The same one. Honestly, the truth is, this is a hilarious story. I saw David Blanton shooting one in the Monster Bucks VHS tape, and I went, "That looks so cool."
Yeah, well,
I need.
That's how a lot of kids make decisions.
At the time, nobody shot them.
Right.
And I went to the shop and I said, "I want one of those."
What kind was it?
I still have it. It's the same one I shoot. Carter BK Target. Yeah, that thing's like, it's old.
Really?
It was very old. They don't make it anymore, but I love that release. And yeah, shout out to David Blanton. That's why I did it. Yeah.
Dang. Well, that's how, as a young, impressionable youth, that's how you make decisions. You see somebody who you think looks cool, or and you're like, I want to be. I mean, I wore a bandana like Jim Shockey.
Yeah.
And Chuck would always have a big smile, so I'd have a big smile. Larry D. Jones used to have like camo face paint, but he would have white camo paint also. Sick. So a little white. So I'd do that. And it's just like, we always learn from those who come before us, right?
For sure.
So that's just kind of how archery, when you're just starting out, you're just kind of mimicking who you look up to.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would love to shoot with Levi. That'd be cool. I'm sure he's just a beast hunter too. So I would love to just talk bow hunting and do some shooting. I'm sure one day that'll happen.
Yeah,
got to bring my A game.
I know. God.
You shot with him.
I did, yeah. And I practiced out there like every shot I was going to take for like the whole week.
Yeah.
And then I got him out there, and I'm like, so we pull in out there, and I'm like, okay, let's just shoot from here. And it was like this little bear at maybe 77 yards, just right out of the truck, no warm up, and I made a good shot. And he shot, and I was like in the 10, but a little bit to the left. He shot right inside my arrow. And I'm like, wow.
You're like, I needed that one.
I needed that. And then, yeah, he went on a roll, and I'm just like, holy shit. Then somehow, I think what it ended up is like, I got 6 out of 17. And, but mostly, I mean, all his shots were like, I basically got lucky 6 times.
Hey,
but,
6 is good.
I was happy with 6.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah. But, I was quizzing him and saying, like, you know, that's where I told you about what he told me about how, depending on where the sun is and how it comes into your peep, it can change how you're looking, how you're seeing that peep in your pin. And like he told me the story about it. I think he does ASA. I'm not sure what the shoot is, but they went down a road and shot all the targets on the right side, then came back and still shoot on the right side, but it was the other side of the road. Mm-hmm. And when they turned around coming back, the sun, of course, was on their opposite side. What changed how he is looking at his pin through the peep. So he's like a few inches to the left.
Yeah.
And when those guys are like, he's going after 14s all the time.
Yeah, that big, you know.
You can't be a few inches off. So they're so used to like adjusting to either weather, probably barometer, you know, like thick air affects your arrow maybe that much, which that could be a line
for sure
on a 14.
Absolutely.
The light coming in your peep, just different things. I don't know about footing, but it just made me more aware of just looking at everything.
Dude, when you told me that about the peep thing today, I was like, that's an element I never thought about. So see, that's why I would love to just learn little things like that from someone of that caliber. Like, hey, what am I overlooking? Because that's definitely something I'd never thought of. But once you said it, I go, it makes total sense.
It does make sense. It does. And I just remember we were sitting in the bow rack and he was shooting at 40 yards and we were just sitting there watching him and just so freaking accurate, just a machine. And I'm like, it looks so easy.
Yeah.
It looks so easy.
Some people, man, are just like put in a lot of work and have a lot of talent. When you line up a lot of work and a lot of talent,
it's a perfect storm.
Yep.
You know, Waddell he really surprised. I mean, I know he's a great shot. We talked about the videos, but in the bow rack, man, he's laying them in there.
Really?
Yeah, just a great archer. And I think T-Bone is like a master bow mechanic, which helps because you know, that's one thing that Levi mentioned. I don't know if you listen to that podcast, but he was so particular about setting up his bow and tuning it. He said that's why he was winning for a long time is his bow was set up. It was just tuned better. And it makes, you know, when you're talking this much difference between winning and losing, sometimes is your bow shooting perfect. And so he was just so particular about how he had his bow set up, and he was just an incredible technician. So T-Bone offers that up for Nick Munt and Waddell, I think, and it's a big advantage.
For sure.
You know, you can buy the same bow as somebody else and have the exact same everything else. If your bow isn't tuned perfectly and theirs is, there's going to be no competition.
That's why it's important to have a good shop too,
Yeah.
or a good resource like Podium Archer on YouTube, Josh, that shows you how to do it yourself if you don't live near a shop. In San Diego, we've got a lot of good shops like Bow and Arrow Shop, Performance, Willow Creek. Like we're fortunate to have options, just like you have here at the bow rack.
I don't have options, but I don't need one. Yeah, I got the bow rack like a mile away, not even a mile.
But some people live nowhere near a pro shop, and that's where, like, for a guy like Josh, what he does with his videos that are so educational.
Yep.
I can see why, you know, people are so drawn to it because he's got so much information dumped out there for that exact person who can't come to the shop. You know?
I know.
And that's a lot of people.
And most people, they just either they're small town or just don't live around a great shop. And it's if you do live around one, man, you got to feel so lucky. But it's so nice having those resources out there on YouTube. You can pretty much look up anything now. Yeah. And it's still not quite like having, you know, when I go down to the bow rack, you know, and I was like messing around with my bow during season, switching spacers back and forth to get it shooting perfect. That is hard to do. That's going to take some time to figure all that out, right? For somebody. So, man, the pro shop
so much better if you have
such an ace in the hole.
Oh, for sure.
That's
what I'm saying. Like, I've been going to bow and arrow shop since the owner Bruce like got it.
Where's that at?
It's in Lakeside, California. So like from where we were at Performance, it's like probably 15 minutes away. But
okay.
I've been going since he owned the shop, and I think like 04, 05. And it's like, man, I love sending people there because I have full confidence that anyone who watches my videos and watches us at the shop that goes in, they're going to get the same experience. Like they actually teach people how to shoot, which I think is cool. Like someone will buy a bow, whether it's a Diamond 320 or a flagship Bowtech, they're going to stand there and make sure they at least like are competent shooters and have good form before they leave the shop. And and then the tuning stuff, the same thing. So I've been very blessed to have that. I don't work on my own bows. I probably should learn how to do it, but I've always just have so much trust in the shop that, you know, I'm like you with the bow rack. It's a total ace in the hole.
I mean, they do it every day.
Yeah.
That worked on thousands of bows. I'm just like, I mean,
take the reins.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I'll pull back and shoot, but
yeah,
it's like Trent down there. Man, he's so good. He's one of the best technicians. Wayne is really good, but Trent, as far as a young guy, man, he is the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice having that. I was I don't know how to say this. So, like in our industry, why is there so many haters?
Oh, well, I don't think that's just our industry. No, dude. I think you talk about any industry, like whether it's golf or rock climbing or hiking or pool, I don't know, the most random communities of anything. I think that always exists. Like,
do you have haters?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple for sure. I got a couple. Yeah.
What'd you do? Why do they hate you?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm too fun. You know what I mean? Too fun.
Yeah,
too fun,
they like to be
looking.
miserable.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, too good looking?
Too good looking.
Yeah.
Too cool.
That'll do it.
There's a lot. Yeah, no.
There's a lot to hate.
I don't have too many though.
No.
Never in person, I'll tell you that.
No.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I think in anything though, like I just think people that push that do things that's not conventional, whatever that is, like what we're doing and like creating content and putting ourselves out there, it's not conventional. And I think that sometimes people with like a really small mindset just don't like that.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you out here doing this? And that doesn't matter if you're a dirt bike rider filming videos or whatever, you know? So I don't know. I think it's just a mindset that I think is pretty nasty. Like I don't really mess with, but you know, there are people that they don't like winners. I prefer to hang out with winners.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I hope. I'd love to see you shoot with Waddell. I'd love to see you shoot with Levi. Anybody else in Paige? Anybody else on the hit list?
I want to shoot with everybody. I want to shoot with people that are not necessarily in archery either.
Paul Skeens.
Shooting with Paul would be cool, or like, so I have one really cool one lined up. There's this guy, Paul Basagoshia. I used to be a pro bike rider, and I rode with Paul. And he actually got paralyzed from the waist down at Red Bull Rampage in maybe 2015 or somewhere around there. But he has a whole documentary about him on Red Bull. He walks again, and he's shredded. He's in great shape. I mean, he's... No, doesn't walk perfect, but he's out here doing it and is super fit, still bikes. So I want to do a video where we go ride together and like hit some jumps and stuff.
That'd
and then
fun.
I show him how to shoot.
There you go.
So stuff like that I want to do with people in
like that.
different spaces because it's cool. Like all that stuff that we talked about shooting with Levi or Paige or Michael or show like that. I look at that as like for our like core fans and audience. But I also want to reach like new people.
Yeah, I don't know how many of the lift run shoots you've watched, but there's something pretty magical when they're at however far it is. Maybe it's 60 yards for some people, maybe it's 100 for others. But when they shoot and that arrow goes and pops that balloon and their reaction, their smile is priceless.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of what we're all chasing, or not we're all chasing, but that's like the magic of archery. Is like watching somebody learning to shoot a bow for the first time and seeing that success and seeing their honest, like childlike reaction to something cool happening, big smile.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And it's just that's the most, I don't know, the important times of life it feels like,
Yeah.
is like trying something new and having a little bit of success and just feeling good about that.
You know what I think popping the balloon does? Because I've watched a fair amount of them, and I have seen that the first time people pop it and get just amped.
Oh, it's amazing.
You know what I think it is? It's like you might have tried that for a while to pop that balloon.
Yeah.
And when you let go of the arrow, there's like anticipation.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of see it and you go, oh, this might be it.
I know.
Right? And then when it is,
Yeah.
you're like, holy shit, I got the balloon,
it.
you know? Like,
I know, it feels
there's
so
nothing
good.
like it. Even when we were shooting at 201, how
Yeah.
fun is it when one of our arrows is gone?
And we got time because we're sitting there, we
Oh,
shoot.
yeah.
And you're like, oh, looks good. Then boom.
Yeah,
oh God,
dude.
that feels good.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah. And I wonder how many balloons I've popped out there. Probably 1,000.
Yeah.
And it never gets old.
doesn't.
At that long distance, watching
No.
that arrow arc in there and then hit. It's just like, I mean, it's like the first time every time.
It is.
And
And it's such an unknown. I love it because you can, especially at 200, it's like, okay, I can see the
Yeah.
line of the arrow.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You know? And then
You got time.
But then you can't, like, the
No.
elevation's tough to see at that
Yeah.
distance, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, we were pretty solid though.
Yeah, no, it was. I don't know. I'm super thankful. You know, we got together. We shot down in San Diego. That was kind of on a whim too. I was down there for the baseball game, and I can't remember if I messaged you or.
I hit you up because I saw it.
Is that
And I
what it
was
was?
like, yeah, and it's actually kind of a funny story about that. So we had DM'd like, I don't know, not many times, like 5 times or
Yeah.
something. And I saw you're at Petco. So I live like 10 minutes from Petco.
And you're a big baseball fan.
Yeah, I am. So
Yeah.
I message you and I'm like, hey, if you got time, we'll try to film. And I message you at like maybe 9 p.m. or something. Like 2 hours go by, I go, if I had to guess, I bet this crazy guy is out running or some shit. And he'll probably message me at like midnight.
Yep.
It's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I see a story of you running. I
Yeah.
go, okay, well, I go, probably pretty soon he messages me. And then like exactly to the script.
Yeah, yeah. And I just love people who love archery. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna make this happen. Let's meet it. And I want to.
Performance was fun.
I want to support those guys just because I've known Bobby forever, and he has sold it, but still a great shop. He still stopped by in there. He's a legend,
Hunting legend for sure.
Yeah, we were able to make a fun video there, and I just then we set up like, hey, you need to come up and do the lift run shoot, and it's just I love supporting people with your attitude that are so positive and are such great archers too. It's I don't know, it's just seeing somebody that shoots as good as you and cares so much about what we love. It just I don't know. It just energizes me and inspires me.
I like shooting with you is a blast because you and me are both competitive, but we're both fun. We both talk a healthy amount of shit, which is fun, you know. And I well, like I said, I guarantee it's not be our last time shooting together.
No,
shit's too fun. But funny thing about the video we did, I don't know if you noticed when you watch, but there was this dude just lurking in the video, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of became a star in the comments, right? People were like, who is the blue shirt guy? And my favorite part is at one point you just turn and go, what's up?
Well,
and then he's like back at the end.
So here's also a little known fact.
Yeah.
That's the guy who set up me going to the game.
Really?
He actually works for me.
Dude, what a legend.
Yeah. Ari.
It was funny because he wasn't saying anything in the video.
No, he's just like, I think he was just trying to like wanted to just hang out. But he so what he does is like I think he got me this SIG sponsorship. And I don't, Rihanna does a lot of my sponsorships, but I don't pay him unless he brings me business.
Yeah. Commission based.
If he brings me business that I wouldn't have got, I think 15% or whatever. So he's a hustler.
What a legend.
And he's Jewish, so he's got is it yarmulke?
Yeah, yarmulke, yeah.
So I took him into the meeting with Danny Duncan's merchandise people, and they're like, oh shit, this is a business guy. So it's like all I had to do is have him there, and they're like, oh, the Jewish guy, of course he's gonna be crunching numbers. So they were like, he was like my secret weapon. Just say here, you don't even have to say anything,
Dude. He is a legend. I didn't know it was one of your guys. That makes it even more funny.
I know.
Did you read the comments at all? Like people love him, dude.
I think people thought he was just like lurking.
Guess what it looks like in the video? Because he's just like kind of like almost shadowing us.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like not, dude, that is so funny.
I think he just didn't want to like intrude, but he wanted to be there.
like,
nicest guy, best guy.
He's a legend, dude.
Yeah, he was at the baseball game with us.
I might have to shoot with him in a video. That would be fire.
I love him. He works his ass off.
I love it.
But he's like pretty strict Jewish. Like there's a lot of different holidays and rules and can't eat until sundown or something like that. But he's like dialed in on it. Then like the Sabbath, so I think he doesn't work I can't remember what time. Something like I think it's all day Saturdays. I don't really know, but he goes like, I'm going to be on Sabbath, so I'll check back in with you.
What a legend!
But when he's working,
Ari's his name.
Ari,
shout out to you, Ari. You're a legend.
Ari's crushing it. Dude.
He's a fan favorite on Bow Disciples. I'll tell you that.
He's my fan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of good work for me.
That's awesome.
So
dude.
I'm like super thankful for Ari. But yeah, he was definitely at the shop. What a good video. That was a good video, man. I watched it before I came up here. I was like, let me rewatch that just in case there's any subject material here. Did that?
And I was like, this is funny, dude. Like,
did it get good views for you?
It's got like 20,000 or something, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's good numbers. So.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah,
well,
it's a lot of fun.
I think our lift run shoot's going to do good too.
Oh, I think so. I think you guys did. We should maybe talk a little bit about the double, what do you call it? Double peaks? No.
What is it?
The double summits.
Oh,
double
night?
summit.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the mistake I made. You start going. I go, I've been running. I'm going to try this. I don't think we went more than 200 yards.
Before we went,
smoked.
Before I said we're going to hit the mountain for a little bit, and you're like, okay, I've been running, and I'm like,
I shouldn't have done that.
I said, what you should have said is you haven't been running, because I just know how that hill. It doesn't matter if you've been running on flat. You try to push it a little bit going up. It's pretty steep at the beginning. You just blow yourself out.
I was blown out so fast, dude. And then I'm trying to power walk. And the power walk was going fine. I go, well, I'm not going to stop. So I'm power walking the whole time. It took a while for those legs to
recover.
get going. Oh, yeah, it took a while. But then after that, it was pretty good. And then it was funny because we get to the top and you're like, all right, we're going to hit another little loop. It's like a bigger loop than the first one.
Well,
and I'm running. I ran the whole thing. And I get down there. I go, dude, I just ran the whole thing. You go, yeah, well, it's downhill.
Yeah, you did good. My goal was to make it memorable.
It was.
I want people to come here and I want them to go home with stories. And when they go home to whoever they're hanging out with, their family, their friends, I want them to have stories about lift, run, shoot.
Oh, dude.
That's all. That's what I want. I want to share my life, and I want it to make an impact.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I love when it got dark. I thought that was cool. Like that reminds me of hunting. Walking out in the dark and.
Well, as I told you, anybody when it's nice and sunny out can go and do a little run.
Yeah.
But get out there when it's dark and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Then okay, now there's gonna be a little separation between you and everybody else. So that's when I'm like, we're getting the second summit in well after dark. That's what it takes sometimes,
dude. Also, the monument up there is much bigger than I anticipated. We get up there, I'm like, I gotta jump up there. Just don't. I'm jumping up. I'm like, please don't come up short.
Yeah.
Don't eat shit.
I didn't know how
it would be good content. So if I eat shit, it's not the end of the world. And then I get a cramp. How about
I didn't know how the legs you're gonna do after 2 summits.
Got it though.
Got it.
Yep. No hands touched too.
That was impressive.
Good. Yeah.
It was. Gideon over here, we started off on that run. Gideon thinks he's going to show off and try to, keep up or whatever. And then he trying to act cool and trips and basically breaks his face in his camera. Do you remember that, Gideon?
On the way down.
No, going up. Right at the beginning.
I missed the one on the way up.
That wasn't me that tripped.
Who tripped?
Did I trip?
Oh, it was you?
I thought that was... When did I trip? Wait.
Right in the beginning.
No, yeah. He tripped coming down, though. Remember that? But it was an epic save. He had a good save.
Oh, I thought that was, I heard somebody trip.
That was me, yeah.
Oh.
I clipped a rock and dropped anchor right out the gate, dude. The gate dropped and I swapped the back wheel right away, dude. Yeah, I couldn't handle the 450, you know. It's too much power.
It's, yeah, that hill, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, I mean, and then the lifting, you're strong.
You know what? That's probably the most disappointed I am in
The lifting?
in today. I really wanted to get you on 225. I was so bummed when it just it felt rep 1. I go, I got this.
It's a heavy 225.
Rep 2. Well, like you said, they're actually double weighted plates.
It's like 4 plates.
405.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to do, a few reps of 405, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good lift, though. You got a nice gym. I really like your bench, and yeah, it's fun. I love lifting, so that's like a big part of my archery, too, I think, is having good, strong muscles and foundation, because my shoulders used to be super blown out from bike riding. I got torn labrums in both. And in 2012, it was rough. I had an elk hunt, and it was like, I mean, I could barely draw the bow. My shoulders hurt like shit. They're constantly popping out of socket. But I was still biking. I was still in my biking career. So I talked to my doctor, and he was like, look, you can go get both of your shoulders repaired, but you're going to probably tear them again. Or you can go try to get strong. I was skinny as shit, bro, like not in good shape. He goes, you can try to go lift weights and get like a lot stronger and add muscle from the outside, since your shoulders have no stability from the inside.
Yeah.
They will not. So I was like, well, I'll try weightlifting. And I was like 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Okay.
I've lifted ever since, and I like have to continue lifting, or my shoulders, it's crazy how fast they deteriorate if I take some time off or something.
Yeah. Keep it
Which
up.
happens on hunts, because I'll go hunt for
Yeah.
a few weeks. By the
lose
time
a
I get
lot.
back, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
oh man, my shoulder feels not good.
Yeah, I did want to before we wrap up here, I do like the perspective you've had on who you're partnering with on your bow, because I like that you found a good opportunity with Bowtech. You're going to go over there tomorrow, get their new flagship bow, I think, and it's just, they've made some cuts, but at how the industry goes, it's like, where do you hitch your wagon to? And I like your approach on Bowtech. Like, if you could come in and be a big player for them, make this great content, and then, because they did have to, I don't know what happened, but they did cut some shooters. Maybe that's a good opportunity for you to just like take advantage of this. You're getting in, not making a ton of money to start, but you're going to prove yourself, and then who knows where it's going to go. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So, first of all, for me, is like, I enjoy shooting Bowtech. I've shot Bowtech since 2005. I have not shot a different bow since. And that was like where I wanted to be, So for me, I'm like, I really want to make this specific partnership happen. Like, that's the most natural fit for me. It's a natural fit for them. Let's make it happen, And then from like a, like a business mindset as well, aside from just personally wanting to be there and really liking the product. I love the bows. I'm super comfortable with the bows. But another thing was, looking at the landscape, it's like Hoyt and Matthews have, the big people signed. You're on Hoyt. A bunch of other big names are on Hoyt. Same with Matthews. Bowtech, yeah, they have Paige, who's like, up there with, like, she one of the best shooters there is. But I kind of looked at it like, okay, I think I can kind of like position myself as more of like a face of the brand, kind of like you are with Hoyt, with a company like that in a quicker amount of time. And it's more fitting, because I literally, like, it's not fake shit. You can go watch me shoot stuff in 2005 and then all the way till now.
You're not just chasing money or whatever. It's just, it's natural.
Correct. Yeah. So for me, that was a big thing, because like I said, I'm year 6 on this, and it's the first year I've actually tried to really monetize, which we talked about. And I think that's something I'm open to talk about all the time, because if a kid right now is watching this and they're 16, 17 and want to make money doing archery content, it's possible. And people are so hush-hush about it that I don't want to be that way. So, like, we have like 4 revenue streams between YouTube ad revenue, our website, bowdisciples.com, where you can win one of my bows right now, which is kind of cool. An event, Bow Disciples Challenge 3D shoots, 2-day shoot in May. And then we have sponsorship deals, like paid deals, and then we have like discount code deals.
What's the pay? What do you mean the sponsorship?
Like
deals?
just like my deals that pay like monthly.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, plus
right.
like the
for your
discount
revenue.
code stuff.
I
you
see.
know, you know what I mean?
So if you have a code, then you get a percentage of
Stuff
that.
like that.
Sales,
I have a few of those.
Yeah.
I try not to do too many, but we have a couple. Mm-hmm. So like growing that, you got to have a mindset for business.
Yeah.
You know, and thankfully I was a bike rider doing the same type of stuff in 2010 through 2013.
Sponsorships and things like that.
Same thing. Making content. I was putting videos on the internet in 2007.
Oh, okay.
So I've been doing this a long time, and just like getting better at it, more refined, and I didn't do a single sponsorship on purpose until the end of last year. So I was independent for 5 years. Like, let me build it first,
Build your
and
brand.
then I'm going to pick out the companies I really want to work with.
That's a good idea.
You know, so like with Bowtech, it's like I'm super excited about that, and hopefully we have I say it to every company I do deal with, but like I hope it's for 20, 30 years, 40 years. That's what I hope. You know, it doesn't always go that way. No. Obviously, like things happen in life, but I never go into a deal thinking it'll be 1 year. I want it to be a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good attitude. It's just like that first year, maybe just make them realize what a great value you are.
Yeah.
And they're just like, holy shit, this guy's kicking ass for us, and then build from there. But that story sort of reminds me of, you know, like with my shoe deal, I'm never going to get Nike, but Speedland, shit. They're local here in Oregon. They're kicking ass. People are talking about them. They use me. I got my own shoes. And it's like, you would never say like, oh, I've always dreamed of wearing, you know, running in Speedland. But then when you kind of look at the landscape and you're just like, well, looking at it like, God, they did send me shoes. I do like them. They're great to run in. And I'm some redneck bow hunter, which normally doesn't go with like the running community, but they're willing to support me. So it's like, I just want to be a great value for them. They've supported me now for a few years as far as giving me opportunity. It's like, that's what it's all about. Yep. That's how you can build.
Yeah, and it's also cool when you can like. I kind of like, if I can, sometimes working with companies that are smaller. Like, especially if they have potential and are willing to
make an impact.
For sure. And it's so cool when you can build right alongside someone else putting in the comparable or more or the same effort. Like, I really like that, you know, and obviously like a company like Bowtech is not a small company, but it just like, I don't know. It was a good fit for me. And
perfect.
Yeah. I mean, 2025 is going to be 20 years straight shooting the bows. It's a long time, dude. No,
it's a great opportunity for you. I know you're going to be a good value for them, and you do. I mean, you represent archery well, and that's
thank you.
You know, that's what every company wants. That's the name of the game. It's like, you know, when people look at you and they hear your name, what do they think? You know, that's pretty much all it amounts to.
Yeah.
Are they thinking something positive and fun, or are they thinking like, I can't fucking stand that guy?
Yeah.
When they see you, when I hear your name and I hear Bow Disciples, I'm like, some good videos. You know, so keep that up.
Yeah, thanks,
and
dude.
Sky's the limit.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, and I will. I feel like I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Like I really do. I feel like I've like barely got out the start gate.
Yeah, but it's not like, you know, and people always say, well, for the right reason, this and that. You love archery. So it's not like you're taking advantage, like, hey, maybe this is a lane I could find some success in.
Yeah.
You just love to do it.
I've done it since I was 3 years old.
Right.
You know, like, and I have videos and pictures like that are, you know, maybe I'll use in a documentary one day or some shit. But but like, I've always thought that was kind of goofy too, because like, I'm not going to spend all my time and effort in like, if my goal was to make money I wouldn't probably choose archery.
You do real estate
or something like, you know, or, you know, I'd go get really good at golf or like, you know, there's sports you can, perfect, you know.
James, thank you for coming. We've had, this isn't the last get together we're going to do. This isn't the last shoot off we're going to do. This is not the last video, but we've had a great time. I'm very appreciative you came all the way up here to Oregon, and man, just had a blast. Thank you.
Well, dude, thanks to you and your whole team. You guys are the real deal. Like, you guys handle stuff, and you've honestly, like, dealing with your, you know, Rihanna and the people doing your scheduling, and James, you guys, your whole team was awesome, very hospitable, easy to work with. And I have a blast shooting with you. I feel like our energy matches well, and we'll do more stuff. There's no doubt. And I appreciate the opportunity. You know, you got a big platform in the space. Like, there's no doubt about it. And I feel blessed that you gave me a shot, and hopefully I showed up.
Nah, I want you to blow up, dude.
Yeah.
I want you to blow up. I want your meeting to go well at Bowtech tomorrow. I want you to blow up. I love what you have to offer the industry, and I know you're just going to keep hammering.
Nice. Yeah. There it is.
You like that? You like that?
Thanks, bro.
All right. Later, guys.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my feel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They sent their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in dirt, feeling like Cam Haynes. Oh, give me the Mars, nobody wants, I'll give you my heart, I'll carry the